Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you're watching this right now, consider it a direct intervention. Today I'm putting on my business coach hat because honestly, I'm seeing way too many incredibly talented creators running themselves completely into the ground. You started your print-on-demand business because you wanted freedom, right? Creativity, scalable income, but instead you're probably just exhausted, overwhelmed, and staring at a dashboard with barely any sales to show for all that endless hard work. Well, the source material we're unpacking today, Anthony Farrier's Design Less and Sell More, is going to completely dismantle that traditional advice you've been fed. We are going to restructure your entire approach, pull you out of burnout, and help you build a real, sustainable brand. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Be honest with yourself for a second. Are you caught in the print-on-demand trap? You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that mandate from all those online gurus telling you that print-on-demand is strictly a numbers game. They insist that you absolutely must upload 10 designs a day, every single day, just to build this massive catalog if you ever want a shot at succeeding. Throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, right? But what actually happens? You end up running on empty, frantically churning out designs just to hit some arbitrary quota, instead of creating something you actually believe in. It's an exhausting cycle, and, frankly, it's just terrible advice.
Because here's the harsh reality of that volume-based strategy. It creates what the source so accurately calls a digital landfill. When you upload hundreds or even thousands of designs, you aren't building a brand. Nope. You're just building a massive catalog of unpromoted products that immediately get buried under millions of other generic listings. This high-volume grind does not lead to a flood of sales. Actually, it guarantees two pretty devastating outcomes. First, creator burnout. You simply can't sustain that level of output without losing your mind and your passion. And second, customer choice exhaustion. When a potential buyer lands on a store with thousands of random, completely unconnected designs, they don't buy, they bounce. It's just way too overwhelming.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between working harder and working smarter. It's a classic tale of two creators. Take Alex, for example. Alex followed the guru advice to a T. He churned out an incredible 450 designs, uploaded every single one. And what did he get for all that effort? $24. Now look at Sarah. Sarah completely ignored the volume trap. She focused entirely on just two flagship products. Literally, just two. And her result? $9,420 in pure net profit. Wow. This contrast is undeniable proof that the traditional high-volume method is completely broken. It's really not about how many designs you have. It's about what you actually do with them.
So why does this happen? Well, Sarah's success really comes down to a powerful psychological principle called the paradox of choice. By presenting a minimalist display, just those two flagship products, Sarah actually removed the friction for the buyer. You see, when you give people fewer better options, their brains don't have to work nearly as hard to make a decision. In fact, the source data reveals that this minimalist approach generated a conversion rate 10 times higher than those massive catalogs. 10 times! Just let that sink in for a second. By actively restricting what she offered, she made her products look way more premium, highly curated, and infinitely easier to actually purchase.
So, as your coach today, here is my firm instruction to you. I want you to immediately stop creating new designs. Right now. Just step off the hamster wheel. Instead of trying to manage this massive, unruly catalog, you are going to compress your product line down to just 3 to 5 exceptional flagship designs. That's it. We are officially adopting what's called the Apparel Multiplier strategy. It's time to stop treating your designs like lottery tickets where you're just hoping one wins, and start treating them as valuable assets that require your full attention and strategic backing. You really only need a few great pieces to build a highly profitable brand.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the exact shift in your daily effort that absolutely has to happen. The old failing model probably had you spending 90% of your time designing and, maybe 10% on marketing if you were lucky. Well, we are flipping that completely. Welcome to the new paradigm, a high-leverage split of 20% designing and 80% marketing. Your job is no longer to be a factory worker churning out endless graphic tees. Nope. Your job is now to be the chief marketing officer of a tight premium product line. You're going to take that single exceptional design and turn it into a relentless traffic-generating engine.
Let's move to and see how this builds organically, because this is where the actual mechanics of the Apparel Multiplier strategy really come into play. You might be wondering, how do you spend 80% of your time marketing just a few designs? Well, you use the 1 to 3 content multiplier. This means you're extracting maximum leverage from every single design asset. So for one flagship design, you don't just post a link and cross your fingers. No, you translate that single design into 3 distinct media formats: text, image, and video.
You write a really engaging story about it, you showcase a stunning lifestyle image, and you create a dynamic short-form video showing it in motion. Suddenly, one single design becomes an entire ecosystem of content.
But what kind of content should that actually be? Listen, if you just spam "buy my shirt" in your text, images, and videos, you're still going to fail. The strategy totally relies on 3 specific content angles: cultivate, curate, and convert. First up, you cultivate by entertaining your audience, giving them a reason to stop scrolling that has absolutely nothing to do with buying. Next, you curate by inspiring them, showing the lifestyle, the vibe, or the community around your brand. And finally, you convert by directly asking for the sale. You really have to perfectly match the mindset of an organic scroller. They log onto social media to be entertained and inspired first, right? Only then are they actually open to being sold to. Now, I can hear some of you saying, but I don't have a massive budget for professional photo shoots and fancy videos. So the crucial point to understand here is the user-generated illusion. You absolutely do not need massive budgets. For real. You just need exactly one physical sample of your flagship product and the smartphone that's probably sitting in your pocket right now. By filming yourself, your friends, or just your everyday environment in an authentic, user-generated style, you create premium, high-trust visual content. And ironically enough, this raw, native-looking content actually shatters that cheap print-on-demand stigma far better than a sterile, overly photoshopped mock-up ever could.
Okay, to pull all of this together without getting totally overwhelmed again, you need a system. Enter your new 7-day scaling engine. This structured weekly routine is exactly how you execute that 80% marketing phase while keeping your sanity completely intact. So, days 1 and 2, you're batching your content, shooting those videos and taking photos with your physical sample. Days 3 to 5, you polish those assets, editing the videos and writing out your cultivate, curate, and convert captions. And then on days 6 and 7, you just schedule the distribution. You do the hard work once during the week, and boom, the marketing engine runs automatically for you. Guys, this is how you build a real brand.
So, we have reached the end of our intervention. I've laid out the apparel multiplier strategy for you directly from the source material, and I think the path forward is crystal clear. You've seen how a minimalist catalog completely crushes a digital landfill. You know how to multiply one single design into an entire marketing ecosystem. The only thing left now is a choice. Are you going to stay on that exhausting production hamster wheel, constantly chasing pennies with hundreds of unseen designs? Or is it finally time to embrace leverage, focus your energy, design less, and actually sell more? The next move is entirely up to you. Take this strategy, compress your catalog, and start building your brand today.